Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome each and every one of you to a new League of Legends video. So today we're going to be on the PvE server playing the new Champion Zeri. So for this video, guys, I want to do something a little bit different actually than my usual gameplays of new champions. I usually do like a 5v5, and the games on PvE are very hard to get like, very high quality games. So I thought, let's switch it up this time. I want to try this and let me know if you guys enjoy this or not actually. I personally think this would be really good. But let's find out. So what I want to do is I actually want to make these videos on the training mode. And the reason I want to do training mode is we can look at the abilities patiently, calmly, just randomly test them on dummies across the walls. And the best thing is I can just level up to 16 or 18 rather, max level. Dude, I'm like blanking out. Anyway, max level. And we can try different builds, like all in one video. We can try like different types of builds, see how she feels with different types of builds, like AP, AD, attack speed, all in one video. Very fast, very quick, to the point. I think it'll be pretty cool. I think you'll get more information in a short amount of time. So let's find out. I don't know. So let's just see what her animations look like first. Let's check out the backing animation. We can see like literally everything more than that one video in a shorter duration. I think it's a win-win. Anyway, so that's the backing animation. Check it out. Oh, she looks pretty cool actually. I like her. Make the volume a little bit louder. That's a lot. All right, pretty cool. So let's take a look at the abilities. Let's read them together and let's see the ratios and all that good stuff. So we have her passive, Living Battery. So she creates a shield for herself for 60% of the damage that she deals to enemy shields. Wow, so it only works if she hits someone that has a shield, so like against a Janna or something like that. Gains 10% movement speed for 3 seconds whenever she receives a shield. That's pretty interesting. So her auto attack is really slow, by the way. It's essentially like this thing where she doesn't actually auto attack. Like I right click once and that's it. Normally a champion would just stand there and keep auto attacking. She doesn't. You have to keep clicking like this over and over and over, because her actual quote unquote auto attack is actually her Q. So let's go ahead and get to level 6, just so we can put points into everything. So her Q, passive. Zeri's attacks, like actual auto attacks, are treated as an ability and can be charged up by moving and casting this ability, right? So that's pretty interesting. Her uncharged attack deals 27 magic damage, which scales off of 5%. So 20 to 50 base, based on your actual level, scaling with 5% AP magic damage. Increased up to 81, which in this case is between 60 to 150 base, scaling with 15%. So 5 to 15% scaling to enemies below 35% health and consumes some charge. It's an execute, of course. A fully charged attack deals 116, which is 90 to 200 base, based on level, with 80% AP ratio plus 7%, which is also based on level. Max health damage, slows for 30%, and consumes all charges. Active. This ability is treated as an attack. Zeri fires a burst of 7 rounds that deals 78 physical damage, which is 20 base plus 110% physical damage, which is actually not bad. So she has some interesting builds. So you can go AP, AD, or hybrid, it feels like. So you can see it's a very slow cooldown. The range is decently long, so it's a pretty long range. And you can see it kind of goes like this. So it's kind of like a Graves auto attack. So you can see how many numbers there are, the 14s, right? There's plenty. There's like 6 of them, or even more actually. But if you go from really far away, it seems like maybe it'll be... Yeah, see? Only some of them can hit. So you can either like go from far away and hit all of them, or if you like slightly miss, only like maybe one of them will hit, or like 2 of them will hit. Like barely any of them can hit. So it seems like a minimum of 2 will hit. Which is something to keep in mind, which is pretty cool. Right? So you can see as I like, do stuff like that, it kind of charges up the passive. Which it's not at the moment. So if you want to just keep doing this, you have to keep right clicking, by the way. You have to right click over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Lethal tempo only charges on the Q, by the way. So the lethal tempo does not charge on the right click. It only charges on the Q. Very important to remember. By moving and casting this ability, there, and it charges right there, you can see. Underneath her mana bar, it charges, by the way, in case you're wondering. Which you can preemptively use it. You can see the bar is going down as I'm doing this, which is doing the lower part of the damage. But if you charge it up all the way to the max, you can see here the yellow bar underneath the mana, and boom, we're at full charge. And this is where it does like the big damage, right? The main one. Moving on to her W, she fires an electric pulse that deals 111 damage, magical damage, 40 base with 100% 80 and 60% AP scaling. She has a lot of hybrid scaling. And slows the first enemy hit by 50%. If the pulse hits a terrain, it expands into a laser that applies it in an area. So let's check it out what that looks like. So you can see. Ooh, okay, that's actually insane. Let's get the cooldowns off. What the fuck? Holy shit, that's insane. What? That's a disgusting distance though. What the hell? So watch, if you do like this, it goes all the way up there. So it went up all the way around there. What if I go from like here? Let's see. Yeah, so the distance on the second part, it doesn't matter how far away from the turret you hit. So the distance is fixed from the actual structure. So whether I hit the structure from right beside it, or whether I hit the structure from the max distance of the actual W itself, which is like around here, it still goes all the way up to that distance. So this is pretty fucking disgusting range. What the fuck? From here to here, you can hit someone. So imagine if you're like laning bot side, you can like harass people like this, which is insane. Holy shit, that's ridiculous. That's actually kind of broken. And then you have her E ability. She dashes a short distance, so it can be used either with or without a wall. So you can just do it like this. Long cooldown, by the way, 23 seconds is quite a bit. And she'll vault over any terrain she touches, greatly extending the dash range. Her next 3 shots of burst fire, which is the Q, pierce, dealing 80% damage to champion, 80% damage to enemies after the first hit. Hitting a champion with an attack or ability reduces by 1.5 seconds, which actually makes sense why that gets reduced there. So let's take a look at this. So let's go to here. So we'll do an enemy dummy here, and we'll do an enemy dummy here. So let's take a look at the E first, see how this looks like. So you just press the E, you just walk up, press your E on the wall. Boop. It's essentially Talon E, but the best part of this is that it's literally better, because it seems not only faster, but you know how Talon's E can mess up when you press the E on the wall, and sometimes just instead of going over, because you don't have enough movement speed, it just goes you and puts you like here instead of going over. This doesn't have that issue. You go where you want to go. So this is literally just Talon's E, but better. So auto attack does not work with the E passive. It's actually specifically the Q active. So you can see. Okay, well, let's do it again. See, it can like go through now, right? Because normally it stops, kind of like Graze's auto attack. But if you use it with the E, I think even without the going over the wall, it doesn't matter. Yeah, even without the wall, you can just go like this and then just go like this, which is really good for minions. So if you have minions, you can use this to harass through the lane really nicely too. And then we have our ultimate, Lightning Crash. So Zeri discharges a nova of electricity. Let's just see how it looks like first, and then we'll read it. Okay, so it's not a dash. I thought it was a dash, but you can combine it most likely with your E into a dash. So let's actually read it. So you deal 154 magic damage with a 150 base plus 80% magic and 80% bonus AD, as opposed to the other ones, which were like this one, for instance, is just 100% of your AD, it seems like. And this one, it seems to be 110% of your physical damage. This is just bonus AD, 80%. As magic damage. So, okay, so even though she has a lot of hybrid scaling, she does seem to still be doing the majority of her damage as magical damage, except for her auto attack. So everything seems to be magical damage except for the auto attack, which is in this case the Q, I guess, technically. The active Q. So keep that in mind. Very interesting. You can do some pretty spicy builds. So anyway, she deals magic damage to nearby enemies, granting 3 stacks of overcharge for each champion hit for 6 seconds. So let's add another dummy right here. Each stack grants you 2% movement speed. Hitting an enemy champion with an attack or ability adds a stack of overcharge and refreshes its duration by 2 seconds. While overcharged, Zeri gains 30% attack speed, 20 magic on hit damage, which scales off of 15% AP as on hits, and her burst fire, which is the active Q, becomes a faster triple shot that chains the bonus magic damage and 18 physical damage to nearby champions. That sounds kind of broken. So you can combine the E and the ult. I mean, that's kind of fucking nutty. That's pretty disgusting, actually. So that's actually quite nasty. So now, okay, so that's essentially the build. So now let's go max rank. So you can see as you rank up her abilities, this is what you get, right? So for instance, the Q slow goes up and the active damage of the Q goes up, which seems pretty decent, right? As you just rank it up, it goes up by 5 each time, which is not bad. The damage in the W goes up by a decent amount, actually, almost double. The slow and the slow duration both go up. And the mana cost goes up too by a decent amount, 75 to 110, 145, 180, to capping out at 180 base, which is actually pretty freaking good too. 20 to 50. Was that 20 to 50 based on level? Is that 20 to 50 based on rank of the ability? Anyway, whatever. And then of course over here we have burst fire, so the percentage damage goes up from 80%. So I'm assuming up to like 100%. The cooldown of course goes down, and it goes up to 100%, which makes sense, which is actually really good. That's actually really good. So it seems like you'd want to probably max QWE is my guess. E seems to be like a 1-point wonder in all honesty, because it's strictly percent scaling. Early game you won't have enough. This is something later on where it's gonna be more effective in my opinion. And then the ultimate, the damage goes up by 100, the attack speed goes up by 35%, the on-hit damage by 5, and the cooldown goes down. Yeah, so pretty much equal scaling on that in general. So let's try this one more time now at max rank and just see what this feels like. Because don't forget, if you do this like this, because you have the increased attack speed, so you're reducing your E cooldown much faster. But because your Q now goes through people, and because of the E, It chains and goes through people, so it's like you can get some pretty spicy like chain damage potential here. And as long as you just kind of keep, you know, doing stuff, your ultimate just persists for quite a while actually. Right, so that's pretty cool. So let's go into some builds. What can we build here? So let's for now start off with the recommended builds. Okay, I'll just buy the Dorns for now. Just I want to see what it recommends me. So you can go for Triforce. Actually makes sense because you know you do a lot of casting. I mean your Q is literally a cast, but your Q should, I believe the Q doesn't apply on hits. So the passive Q applies on hits, but I don't think the Q itself. Let's try it just for fun. So we'll do that. Gwynsu's makes sense. So we'll get that. We'll get this. So I want to do, okay, let's start off with a typical AD carry build, actually. That's what we'll do. We'll do a typical AD carry build. So we'll do that. Maybe a Bladed Rune King with an Essence Reaver, with like a Storm Razor, and then we'll finish it off with the Infinity Edge. You know, a pretty typical, give or take, AD carry build. I'm actually going to remove this for the sake of getting like a Runeans, let's say. I don't know. Like, you know, pretty standard AD carry, like physical damage builds. Let's see how this feels like. So yeah, so the Q does apply that, right? So obviously it works with the rapid fire cannon. You can see the Q is critting and everything as well. The Runeans is applying to everything as well. Combine this with this, you can see you can do some pretty crazy damage actually. So she feels a lot like Evelyn. You have to like just, you're gonna be, it's kind of carpal tunnel inducing, I'll be honest, because you're gonna be spamming your Q pretty damn often. Just keep that in mind. Alright, so you can do some pretty cool stuff here like this. Does the W go through people? No, it does not go through people. But let's see, if I use my W, let's put a ward here, like this. How does this work? Will it hit all of them? It kind of... So, it's weird. Okay, so we'll go through. Wow, that's a lot of damage, holy shit. That's actually a decent amount of damage. Okay, now let's try a build. Like AP, like literally just full AP. Let's see how that feels like. Just raw AP build. What does that feel like? Let's take a look. So let's go for like a very just glass cannon. So we'll go for that. We'll still go for, okay, we'll go for Sword Boots just for the sake of, you know, keeping an AP. Because she does have a lot of magic damage. The Sword Boots actually kind of makes sense. She has a lot of magical damage. Lich Bane, right? You can go for a Shadow Flame. And you can maybe even go for a Horizon Focus for the, nah, probably not. I lied. Nashers, I think, makes sense here, actually. All right, so, you know, let's try this AP build. See how this feels like. I mean, this feels pretty ridiculous, actually. Yeah, dude, you can... It really feels like this is a champion where you can build AD, like literally just a typical AD carry build. Right? Typical AD carry build. An AP build, which honestly seems pretty okay, actually, surprisingly. Again, don't forget, I do have lethal tempo, which is my attack speed. You know, which is why it feels like I'm attacking pretty fast overall, on top of everything else, of course, like her ultimate. But I do have a lethal tempo, which is obviously helping quite a bit. But I think even AP build lethal tempo makes sense, or like Hail Blades. Right, so that's pretty cool. And then the last build is, of course, a hybrid build. So let's try that out and see how that feels like. Now we'll just do like a completely recommended build, like Triforce, Gwynsu's, Blade of the Rune King, Storm Razor, and I don't know, a Runeans Hurricane. This is like the recommended build that's hybrid. Let's see how this feels like. I think this should be really good, mainly because the Runeans. Oh, sorry, the Gwynsu's should be pretty sick, actually. Yeah, with the Blade of the Rune King. Okay, now let's try... This feels pretty disgusting as well, too. Yo, this champion feels like you can do literally any build. Like, does your team need physical damage? Okay, cool. Go build AD, and your active Q is your physical damage. And you still have hybrid damage, but, you know, you're going to be doing a lot with your Q, which is physical. You need hybrid damage, you need a mix of everything. You have magical damage, and you have physical damage with this build, because your majority of your abilities are magical damage, your Q physical on your active effect, and you have the Gwynsu's Rage Blade, giving you sick... Dude, all fashion moves, by the way, huh? It's pretty crazy. Right, so that's pretty cool. Or do you want just like straight AP damage? Well, you're still gonna have a bit of physical damage, but when you build straight AP, man, those abilities are gonna really freaking hurt. With the AP from your items, like, you know, for instance, a Luden's Echo or like a Leandri is doing actual AP damage. With the Sword Boots making your AP abilities do more damage, while still having a bit of physical in there for hybrid. Whoa, this champion feels like kind of ridiculous, man. I'm not gonna lie. What the fuck? How fast you look like, too? That's pretty crazy. You can like go over these walls like a madman, man. It just scales like a motherfucker. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's kind of insane. Let's just, for fun, quickly skip like 10 minutes, and I just want to see how Baron feels like, just to do. Like, how does Baron feel? Out of curiosity, let's just see. I mean, I am level 18, but just for the sake of, you know, curiosity, like whatever, and then we'll end the video there. Okay, the video ended up still being pretty long, but I thought it would be pretty cool. It's just because I just feel we get to see more, you know, we get to see all the different builds. We get to see how she feels. Okay, so her Baron taking potential is pretty bad, but that's because maybe I'm doing it solo. And the Baron is, of course, technically a level 18 Baron, because I am level 18. Baron scales off of the average level in the game. So we can't do it solo. Yeah, this is not gonna happen. Anyway. Well, there you guys have it. I kind of want to do this a little bit differently. Let me know what you think about this style. Again, I just think we get to see more of the champion like this. We get to see more things. We're not in a rush to actually play the game, you know, and worry about stupid things that are unrelated to the champion. We just get to focus on just the champion, the abilities, the builds, everything like that. So let me know what you guys think about this down below. And of the champion, thought I would do a different style. Let me know what you think about that as well. But either way, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.